What's up guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you guys how to create an advanced sky replacement using After Effects. Now I've recently done this in one of my recent videos, so if you guys want to check it out, I'll link that up here. And before we get started, feel free to click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future tutorials. Alright, so I'm going to grab my footage and bring it down to create a new composition. Then I'm going to go ahead and rename this. Now, since I have both scenes on one video, I'm going to go ahead and scroll to find where I'm going to place a cut. So I'm going to find the position, and then I'm going to head over to edit and split layer so that I have both layers split in half. Then I'm going to go ahead and rename these clips so I know what they are. Okay, so now that we have basically both of our footages, we have the fireworks scene and we have the wedding scene. What we're going to do is go ahead and start tracking. But before we start tracking, we want to isolate the bride and groom so that we don't pick up any of their movements. We just want to pick up the background movement. So let's go ahead and draw a mask around the bride and groom. And to do this, just click on the pen tool up top and then start drawing your mask. Okay, once we finish drawing the mask around our bride and groom, let's go ahead and just click M so we bring down the mask drop down menu, change it to none. And then we're going to add a keyframe. And then all we want to do is scroll through the whole entire footage and make sure our mask is aligned with our subject. So just continue on doing this. I'll fast forward through this just until we complete the whole process, and just keep adding keyframes onto where we want our mask adjusted to so that we don't cut them off. So now that we have our mask in place and we keyframed it, we're going to go ahead back to the mask. Let's change it back to subtract so we remove the subject out of it and we can start our tracking. This way they won't get in the way of the track. Once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and click on our footage, right click and click pre-compose, then name our project and move all attributes to new composition. Alright, so now we're ready to track our footage. We can go ahead and click on Window, Tracker, or use the side panel here and just click on the Tracker panel. And just click Track Camera. Now After Effects will analyze the background. We'll just wait until it's finished. So once we finish tracking and we see that we have a good track, you can scroll through your footage, make sure all the little dots are sticking to the footage. Once we see that the tracker has worked fine and all the dots are connected to the background, we have a good track. We could go ahead and switch from subtract back to none. So now we can see our footage again. Now I'm going to hit Control D and duplicate that layer, then select that layer and go ahead and delete the 3D tracker. So now I'm going to import my video with the fireworks, and I'm going to place it in between both of these clips. Then change your toggle switches to alpha matte. So now I'm going to solo this firework clip, and I'm going to go to Effect, Keying, and I'm going to click Extract. Now I'm going to go ahead and play with this slider until I see that my footage is right. I want to make sure that I'm bringing in the footage while illuminating the sky. So what I'm going to do is just keep sliding it back and forth until I feel I have the right position. You might have to play around with it depending on your footage. Now I'm going to add a little bit of a channel blur to this as well. So just go to Effect and then just go to Blur and click on Channel Blur, and just change this number to whatever you feel is good, maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 or something not too drastic. So after we made our adjustments, we want to basically click the bottom layer where our camera tracker is, scroll through our video, make sure that all the points are sticking to our video, and then we want to select a few points, and then we're going to right click and select Create Null and Camera. We also want to make this a 3D layer, so we're going to go ahead and click the little cube to make this a 3D layer, and then we want to push it back into 3D space. So press P on your keyboard to bring down the position tab, and then we just want to drag it all the way out into Z space so it looks far away. After we send this out into Z space, now we want to basically scale it, so you can press S on your keyboard and you can either type in a number, maybe 1,000 or whatever it is that you need for your scene. And we want to scale this so it fits the whole entire scene. After we scale this up, we can go down to the timeline and we can see that it's sticking to our scene. You just want to go back and forth just to make sure that it's in the frame, and if it's not, just make those adjustments with the keyframes. This is what we have right now. Now it doesn't look that great, so we have to make some more adjustments to this. Oh, since we have the little barn in the back, for example, in this image we have a little barn in the back which is kind of coming see-through, so what we're going to have to do is mask this out so that we still are able to see the barn. It doesn't get diluted from the sky. So let's go ahead and do this now. So I'm going to go ahead and select the top footage, and I'm going to go ahead and select my pen tool and start drawing this out to bring back some of that scene. Now I'm going to make some small tweaks. I'm going to go all the way to the beginning of the scene, press M on the keyboard, and check off for a keyframe. So I'm going to add a keyframe to the beginning of the scene, and then I'm going to scroll all the way down to the end of the scene and add a keyframe, and just adjust the mask so it fits the scene correctly. And then just go in between and just make any final adjustments that need to be made. Now just press F on your keyboard to bring out the feather, and just feather out the mask so that it looks correct. And then just make any final adjustments that you feel need to be made. Now just adjust the mass expansion a little bit. I'm going to probably leave it somewhere around 19 or 20. I'm going to start off by adding a little bit of opacity, bring that down a little bit for the sky. Then I'm going to go ahead and try to change this into a night scene. Okay, now we got most of our scene created. What I'm going to do now is make some color adjustments. So we're going to pretty much add a curves, an exposure, and just make some final adjustments so that it matches. And I'm going to add a tint exposure in a Lumetri color and also a little bit of a curves to the scene. We're going to add a little bit of a glow so that it brings out the fireworks. And that's pretty much it. Now we have our scene with the fireworks. Alright guys, I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss out any future tutorials. And I'll catch you on my next video. Peace.